The day I held his hand. She didn't know the man she bent to help was the owner of the company she desperately wanted to work for. She didn't know that one act of kindness, holding the rough, worn-out hands of a blind beggar while others laughed, was about to change her destiny forever. But kindness is never wasted, even when it looks foolish to the world. What happens when a billionaire disguises himself as a blind beggar just to find a wife for his only son? Welcome to African Tales by Ijele, where every story opens your eyes and touches your soul. Like, share and subscribe. The scorching afternoon sun painted shadows across the corporate building. Men in crisp suits walked briskly past the old man sitting by the entrance, blindfolded, dusty, and holding a rusty tin bowl. His beard was silver, his clothes worn, and a thin stick rested on his lap. No one gave him a second look. Until Amara walked by. She had just finished her 4th interview in 1 week. Hair curled, dress fitting beautifully, shoes slightly dusty from walking, but her spirit, undeniably kind. She didn't walk past. Instead, she stopped. Crouched down. And held the blind old man's hand. "Papa, are you okay?" she asked, her voice gentle. From behind her, 3 young executives pointed and laughed. "Look at her. What is she doing with that beggar? That's why she's jobless." Amara ignored them. "Papa, do you want water? Food? Are you hungry?" The man didn't say much. He just gripped her hand, nodded faintly, and whispered, "You have a good heart, my daughter." "Don't worry, sir. I'll get you something." She rose and left to buy water from the shop nearby. The moment she left, the old man removed his blindfold slightly and glanced toward the men who were laughing. His sharp eyes scanned the group. Then he smiled slowly. She came back, knelt again, and placed the water in his palm. "Drink, Papa. You'll be fine." She never knew that the beggar was Chief Gregory Okonkwo, the founder and chairman of Gregotech Corporation, the very company she had been dreaming to work at for months. He was testing something, kindness in a cold world. And Amara just passed a test no one else even knew existed. That evening, inside a glass-walled office on the top floor, Chief Gregory sat with his personal assistant, Mr. Benson. "Sir, the board is asking again. Should we start shortlisting for your retirement announcement?" Chief Gregory, now wearing a designer agbada and holding a golden walking stick, chuckled. "Not yet, Benson. I have one more job to do before I leave this chair." "And what's that, sir?" "I must find the right woman. Not for me, but for my son. Not just any woman. A woman of heart. Of character. Not one who chases money, but one who sees value in people." Benson nodded respectfully. "And you believe this girl?" "I saw it in her eyes. Her name is Amara. I asked one of the guards to quietly collect her CV after she left." Unknown to Amara, a twist had already begun. Meanwhile, at Amara's home, she returned to the small apartment she shared with her stepmother and stepsister Sophia. Sophia, sharp-tongued and stylish, sat scrolling through her phone with her legs crossed. "You're back? How did it go?" she asked without looking up. "It was fine," Amara replied softly. Sophia finally looked up and laughed. "You mean you went for an interview dressed like that and came back with nothing? You should just give up and marry a security guard." Their stepmother chimed in from the kitchen, "At least Sophia has a fashion business. You walk around like a charity project." Amara went into her room quietly and began to cry. Not because of what they said, but because she was beginning to believe them. Yet, her story was just beginning. The next morning, Amara received a call from an unknown number. "Hello? Good morning. Is this Miss Amara Okeke?" "Yes, speaking. You are invited for an executive trainee interview at Gregotech Corporation, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Kindly dress formally." She blinked. Gregotech? What was going on? She didn't know the blind beggar she helped was the owner. She didn't know that inside that company, the entire board was talking about her. She didn't know her kindness had opened doors her qualifications couldn't. The next day, she arrived at Gregoteka's marble building. Sophia had borrowed one of her fashion rings and wore the same outfit to escort Amara, pretending it was hers. But something strange happened. At the entrance, the security guard nodded to Amara and led her in directly. "You are expected upstairs." Sophia was left standing outside, confused. Inside, the receptionist smiled at Amara. "Welcome, Miss Amara. Please, take the elevator. The chairman wants to meet you personally." "Chairman?" "I thought this was just an interview," she said nervously. When the elevator doors opened, and she walked into the executive suite, she froze. The same blind old man she had helped was seated in a gold-rimmed chair. No longer dusty. No longer blindfolded. He turned toward her with a calm smile. "My daughter, come in. Sit down. We have much to talk about." It was the day after Amara's unexpected elevator meeting with Chief Gregory, and the billionaire was already setting the next phase in motion. Across town, in the family estate of the Okonkwo's, his only son David Okonkwo, a sharp, calculated tech genius and the CEO in training, paced in the garden, holding his tablet. "Dad wants me to meet a potential partner," he grumbled to Benson over the phone. "Another matchmaking stunt?" "She's different, sir," Benson said. "But we believe you should meet her." "Fine. Let's get it over with," David sighed. Later that afternoon, he was scheduled to briefly stop by the company's boutique wing to meet Amara. But when he arrived at the reception, something unexpected happened. Sophia, dressed in Amara's borrowed green gown, with Amara's fashion ring, makeup flawless, stood right there. She had come to see the company after snooping through Amara's invitation slip. David's eyes locked on her. She was bold, confident, beautiful. And she had the exact green dress and ring Benson had described from the CCTV footage. This must be her, David thought. "You're Amara, right?" he asked, arms crossed. Sophia's eyes sparkled. She didn't flinch. "Yes, I am," she lied smoothly. David studied her. Something felt off, but he couldn't place it. She had charm, but her energy wasn't soft. Still, he went ahead. "Follow me," he said dryly. Sophia followed him to the company's executive lounge and spent 30 minutes talking non-stop about fashion, social media, luxury, and her dreams of not being an average woman. David raised an eyebrow. "You helped a blind beggar." "Why?" he asked suddenly. Sophia paused. Her eyes darted. "Well, because it was the right thing to do. People were watching." "I mean, don't you care about public image?" she replied with a laugh. David's heart sank slightly. Something was definitely off. Back in her modest home, Amara sat on a wooden stool beside her father. Papa Obina, a retired schoolteacher with graying hair, gentle eyes, and wisdom in his voice. She had just returned from her surprise meeting with Chief Gregory. Her eyes glowed. "Papa, he said he wants to help me. He said he saw something in me. He said this opportunity is real." Her father smiled warmly. "You see why I always told you to stay kind? When you were young, I told you that your heart will take you places your feet can't reach. But Papa, I'm scared. Sophia knows. She may. Let her do what she wants," he said, holding her hand. "No one can block the light of someone who shines from inside." Those words would carry Amara through the storm that was already brewing. The next day, Amara arrived at Gregotech for her real scheduled evaluation, unaware Sophia had already impersonated her the day before. She walked in, smiling and calm, her file in hand. The receptionist blinked in confusion. "Amara, again? I'm sorry?" Before anything else could be said, Chief Gregory himself walked into the lobby, cane in hand, dressed in brown native. "There she is," he said warmly. "Let her through." Amara was ushered in. David was waiting in the conference room. As she walked in, their eyes met for the first time. And for a moment, there was silence. She was nothing like the loud, flashy woman he met yesterday. Soft. Graceful. Gentle. He blinked. "Wait, what's your name again?" "Amara Okeke," she said, standing tall. David frowned slightly. That was the name Sophia gave him yesterday. He looked at his father. Chief Gregory smiled mischievously. "I think there's been a mix-up," he said. "And now, it's time for you, David, to open your eyes, not just with sight, but with truth." Later that evening, David and his father sat in the private study. "That was the real girl, wasn't it?" David asked quietly. Chief Gregory nodded. "Yes. The one who knelt. The one who gave water. The one who didn't know she was being watched." David sighed. "Then who did I meet yesterday?" "Your lesson," his father said calmly. The next day, David called Amara in for a private assessment. She sat nervously at the edge of the conference table. He leaned forward. "So, what do you want from all this?" Amara blinked. "I'm not sure I understand. You helped a man you thought was a beggar. And now you're here. Working in the same building. Are you hoping for a reward?" Her heart dropped. "No, sir. I didn't even know he was rich. I helped him because he looked like he needed help." David's face was unreadable. "Well, let me be honest with you. I'm not looking for a charity case. My life is structured. I don't believe in fairy tales." Amara swallowed. "I understand. But," he continued, "if you want to prove yourself, you'll start in the HR department. No special treatment." She nodded, holding back tears. "Yes, sir. I'll do my best." As she stood to leave, he added, "And next time, don't come in with drama surrounding your name. I don't like imposters." Amara left the room, her heart crushed. Behind her, David watched her go, confused by his own irritation. He didn't want to like her. But something about her stayed in his mind. Meanwhile, Sophia was on the phone, furious. "He didn't call me back, Mummy. I even wore her ring. He just said thanks for coming and left me in the lounge." Her stepmother hissed. "We'll find another way. Don't let that foolish girl win." And so, the battle of identity and integrity had begun. Amara had started working at Grego Tech, a quiet intern in the HR department, buried in files and paperwork. Every day, she arrived early. Every night, she left last. But even though she was determined to prove herself, her presence had not gone unnoticed. Especially not by Sophia, who was boiling with envy. "She's in already," she hissed over the phone to her mother. "And I'm the one who got noticed first." "She's not better than you, Sophia," her mother snapped. "She just got lucky. Do something before she takes everything." So Sophia came up with a plan. She began spreading small rumors around the office, whispers like wind. "Isn't that the girl who bribed her way in? She used to sleep around for job offers. I heard she came through the chairman's secret list." And slowly, Amara noticed the shift. People stopped greeting her. Lunch invitations stopped. Side glances increased. Laughter behind her back grew louder. But she remembered Papa Obina's voice. "Your heart will take you farther than your feet ever can." So she pressed on. Until one day, something exploded. A confidential employee file, containing salary details, was leaked from the HR office. And somehow, Amara's name was on the login history. The blame came fast and sharp. "You leaked the document? Are you trying to blackmail the company? She's trying to destroy us from inside." Amara was summoned to the 14th floor. David stood behind his desk, cold as ice. Chief Gregory sat by the window, silent. "I don't believe I need to remind you that leaking private files is a federal offense," David said. I didn't leak anything, Amara whispered, hands shaking. Then how do you explain this? He turned the laptop to show her the access logs. She blinked. That's not me. I never even touched that file. Chief Gregory narrowed his eyes. David didn't flinch. You're suspended for now. We'll investigate, he said firmly. Amara swallowed hard, bowed her head, and walked out with tears in her eyes. And upstairs, hidden behind the hallway wall, Sophia smiled wickedly. Amara collapsed in her father's arms that night, crying like a child. I didn't do it, Papa. I didn't. I promise I didn't, she wept. Papa Obina sat beside her, his hand firmly around her shoulders. You don't need to convince me. I know who my daughter is, he said quietly. You were framed. But they suspended me, Papa. And the chairman didn't say anything. And David, he didn't even look me in the eye. Papa's voice turned strong. Let them. If the truth is fire, it will burn through every lie. He stood up and paced the small room, then stopped. You are not weak, Amara. They have shaken your feet, but not your root. You will not beg. You will not explain yourself to gossip. You will wait, because truth is like sunrise. It may delay, but it never forgets to rise. Amara wiped her tears. I will go back there, Papa. And I will prove who I am. Not with words, but with results. Her father smiled. That's my daughter. Back at Gregotech, Chief Gregory sat in his private quarters reviewing the HR system logs with Mr. Benson. Something's not right here, the old man said, adjusting his glasses. This girl Amara, her account was used at 7:35 p.m. Benson squinted. But she clocks out at 6:30 sharp every day. I've seen it myself. And no one noticed that another login occurred from a system that was already flagged for unusual activity, Gregory muttered. Find the CCTV footage from that night. I want to see who was still on that floor after hours. Minutes later, the truth began to twist its way out. In the footage, a slim woman entered the HR room around 7:30 p.m. She wore Amara's dress. Her walk was confident. She had a master key card. But when she looked up at the camera for one brief second, it was Sophia. Gregory's eyes hardened. Call my son. When David arrived and saw the footage, he was stunned. She said her name was Amara the day I met her, he muttered. But that was Sophia? Yes, his father said grimly. And the real Amara has been working with integrity while being treated like a fraud. David's jaw tightened. He had judged her. Suspended her. And now he felt shame. Bring her back, Gregory said. But don't just apologize. Let her earn her way again. If she wants this place, let her take it by fire. David nodded. I will. The next morning, a message was sent to Amara's phone. You are invited back to resume your duties at Gregotech. Please report to the boardroom. The chairman will address you in person. She read the message 3 times. Then quietly, she packed her bag and stood in front of the mirror. This time, she wasn't nervous. She wasn't even scared. She was ready. The storm was still raging. But this time, she had learned how to walk through it. Gregotech's boardroom had never been this tense. Every executive sat upright, whispering. The news had spread like wildfire. Amara was innocent. The real culprit? Sophia. A girl who wasn't even employed. The door creaked open. Amara walked in slowly. This time, she didn't bow her head. She walked like a woman carrying both pain and purpose. She stopped in the middle of the boardroom. Her eyes met Chief Gregory's. Good morning, sir, she said calmly. He stood, cane in hand. Welcome back, my daughter. The fire didn't burn you. It refined you. The entire room was silent. Even David stood. Amara, he said, clearing his throat. I owe you an apology. She looked at him. You don't owe me anything, sir. You did what you believed was right. His heart stung. The kindness in her voice made his earlier coldness feel disgraceful. You will resume as my personal executive assistant, Chief Gregory announced. And if anyone here has a problem with that, my office door is wide open. Whispers followed. David's jaw dropped. But, Dad. Sit down, David, Gregory said sternly. Watch and learn. And just like that, the beggar's girl, once mocked, accused, and suspended, now sat beside the chairman himself. But across town, someone was watching all this unfold. And she wasn't clapping. Sophia was in the living room, pacing like a hungry lion. She had watched the news leak online. Blind billionaire rewards girl who helped him as a beggar. Photos of Amara in her new corporate wear had already gone viral. Twitter, blogs, radio stations, everyone was talking about her. Sophia's chest burned with shame. She stole my shine, she screamed. Her mother hissed. Then take it back. And that night, Sophia made a desperate call to a crooked blogger. Hi. I have a scandal. You'll love it. The next day, a blog post exploded online. The real truth about Gregateka's new star girl. Did she really help a blind man, or was it staged for PR? Sources say she's related to the chairman. Others claim she bribed her way in. Exclusive details from a former friend reveal Amara is not as innocent as she looks. Office staff began whispering again. Screens buzzed. Screenshots flew. And Amara noticed. Even in her new office, she felt the shift. David walked in that afternoon. He slammed the blog post on her desk. What's this, Amara? Her mouth opened slightly. I didn't write that. I know. But someone's out to finish you. And if we don't handle this fast, the board will call for an ethics review. Amara stood up. Let them. I'm not afraid of truth. David's eyes softened. I admire that, but you're not alone in this. Not anymore. She looked up at him, surprised. Was that concern in his voice? His next words confirmed it. You've proven you're more than kind, you're strong. And I'm starting to realize. I may have judged you too quickly. She froze. He wasn't just talking like a boss anymore. There was something else in his voice. But before she could respond, a slap echoed across the office hallway. Sophia had just stormed in. She had slapped Amara's office glass door open. You're a liar. A witch. You stole my life, she screamed. Everyone turned. David stood up immediately. Sophia. Leave this building now before I call security. But Sophia wasn't done. You think she's perfect? Ask her where she gets the money to look this expensive. Ask her who gave her that ring. David looked at the ring Amara wore, ironically, the same ring Sophia had once borrowed. Amara turned to Sophia, tears in her eyes, but not from fear. Sophia, why do you hate me so much? What did I do to you? Sophia scoffed. You were born. That's what you did. I was supposed to shine, not you. Security finally pulled her away. But her words lingered in the room like poison. That night, David sat in his father's private study, staring at the fireplace. I misjudged her, he said. Chief Gregory nodded. Yes. You judged her with your eyes, not your spirit. I didn't know she was real. I didn't believe people like her still existed. She's not perfect, David. But she's honest. And she's got courage. David hesitated. I think I'm falling for her. His father raised a brow. Then fight for her. Or lose her. Elsewhere, Amara sat in bed, staring at her phone. She had no makeup on. Her ring lay on the table. Her eyes were tired. But her heart? Still kind. Still burning. Then a text came through. David. Meet me tomorrow. Garden rooftop. 7 p.m. I owe you truth, and more than an apology. She stared at the message. Her hands trembled. Was this finally the turn, or another twist? Only time would tell. But one thing was sure. The fire was still burning. And this girl, this lion-hearted girl, was no longer afraid of the flame. A month had passed since Sophia's meltdown. Amara had settled into her role with quiet strength. Her eyes carried warmth, her words inspired peace, and her ideas? Magnetic. Chief Gregory had given her free rein to manage a new client proposal, one the company had been struggling to win for over a year. The client? Mr. Henry Daniels, a wealthy investor in his late 30s, single, smart, and very selective. Rumor had it he rejected companies based on vibes. Amara volunteered to lead the presentation team. David watched from the sidelines, skeptical, but secretly curious. He'd seen her rise from scandal to stardom with nothing but truth, hard work, and that golden smile. The morning of the pitch arrived. As the team waited in the boardroom, Henry Daniels entered with dark sunglasses, a navy suit, and an unreadable face. The moment he saw Amara, something shifted. She stood confidently, dressed in a simple blue dress, notebook in hand, smile sincere. Henry blinked, stunned. Miss Amara Okeke. I'll be leading today's pitch. Henry nodded. Let's begin. And she did. No aggressive sales talk. No pressure. Just honesty, empathy, and brilliance. She talked about people before profits. Community before competition. Her voice was calm, but her heart was fire. When she finished, Henry sat back and clapped. I've heard enough, he said, turning to his team. Cancel my next 2 meetings. I'm signing with Gregotech. The entire room froze. David stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time, again. Henry walked up to her and extended a hand. You're something special, Miss Amara. Are you married? David's jaw clenched slightly. No, sir, she smiled, I'm not. Well, we'll be seeing more of each other. That night, at home, Chief Gregory burst into laughter after hearing the news. That girl has brought more deals to this company with her kindness than you with all your degrees, he teased David. David looked away, clearly bothered. She's just good at her job. Gregory's smile faded. You like her, David. Silence. You love her. But you're too proud to say it. And now another man has eyes on her, and he's a billionaire too. What are you waiting for? For her to walk away? David exhaled deeply. I don't know if she'd even say yes. Gregory leaned forward. Then try. Before you lose her forever. The next evening, Amara received flowers in the office. No card. Just red roses and white lilies. Then, a call. Please meet me at the garden rooftop. Same place, David said. She went. David was waiting. No suit. No CEO coat. Just jeans, a plain shirt, and his heart in his hand. Amara. Yes? I've been wrong about a lot of things. You. Myself. What love should look like. She waited. He stepped closer. I judged you. I pushed you away. But even when I didn't see your worth, you kept showing it. You changed everything. Including me. He paused. I love you, Amara. I don't expect you to say anything right away. But I had to say it before someone else does. She looked at him, eyes glistening, heart pounding. I wasn't waiting for you to be perfect, David, she whispered. Just real. He smiled, relief washing over his face. And in that moment, truth met love. No ring yet. No promises. Just 2 people, finally speaking the same language. Weeks passed. Henry Daniels kept visiting, but this time, as a business partner, not a suitor. He sensed Amara's heart already belonged elsewhere. "I wish I'd met you sooner," he told her. "But I'm glad I met you at all. You're the kind of woman who makes people better just by being around." She smiled warmly. "Thank you, sir. That means a lot." In a private ceremony held at the Okonkwo Estate Garden, under the evening sun, Chief Gregory gathered the board, key staff, and a few family members. He announced his retirement, and named David Okonkwo as the new CEO. But that wasn't all. He held Amara's hand beside David's and said, "I'm not just handing over a company. I'm handing over a legacy. And I'm glad the woman who reminded me of humanity will stand beside my son." David knelt before Amara, a small velvet box in his palm. "From the first time you held my father's hand, you unknowingly touched my future. Will you walk into that future with me, as my wife?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Yes." Cheers erupted. Sophia and her mother, somewhere far away in shame and bitterness, would see the photos later, and realize jealousy builds nothing, but kindness builds everything. When the world moves too fast and hearts grow cold, kindness becomes the only language that never goes out of style. Never underestimate the power of a pure heart. Because even in the middle of glass towers, closed doors, and corporate suits, a simple act of love can rewrite destinies. Just like it did for Amara. Thank you for watching African Tales by Ijele. If this story touched your heart, don't just keep it to yourself. Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more heart-shaking, eye-opening stories that prove that destiny is not always loud, it can come quietly, holding your hand. Until next time, stay kind. Stay true. Stay legendary.